And now it's time for lefties losing it. Hundreds of violence apologists have now faced the professional consequences of celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination. US teachers, doctors and pilots have all been sacked, suspended or had their employment placed under review. But that hasn't stopped dim-witted lefties from pursuing the same self-destructive path.
Yo, homie dead! Yo, homie dead! He got shot in the head! Yo, homie dead!
But it's a case of, as the kids say, F around and find out. Texan Governor Greg Abbott later tweeting the woman had been expelled from her college. Meanwhile, best-selling author Jodi Picoult went off on an unhinged rant in a ridiculous attempt to gloss over the alleged shooter's leftist radicalization.
Shocker, the shooter was a cis white man from a Trump-supporting family who was raised to love guns.
Seriously, Jodi, maybe stick to the fiction in your airport novels. Meantime, ex-CNN host Don Lemon was trying his best to get the answers he wanted for his Man on the Street podcast, except this woman was having no bar of it.
What do you think would happen to Charlie Kirk?
It's just messed up, totally messed up. You know that was messed up. Like, nobody deserved that. He definitely didn't deserve that. He was a good guy.
You think he was a good guy?
I think he was.
Even though he says things that are anti-women, black, all that?
I can't judge him for that.
And lefties' favourite Joy Reid posted this bizarre video in which she appears to be drinking while staring into her laptop camera, listening to an anti-Kirk ballad.
There's a full-blown fire in America and a fascist on Air Force Two.
But honestly, what hope is there for young people when even little kids are being indoctrinated with such hatred?
I have the best news ever.
What? Donald Trump died?
Second best news.
The vice president died?
Okay, third best news.
That Elon Musk died?
Okay, no. Nobody died. My best friend's getting married.
Which one is it?
Taylor Swift!
Sick, and the mum just laughs. We blurred those kids' faces because I'd hope those girls grow up to regret being taught to say things like that. But here's what they risk becoming if they don't.
I've opened X to a bunch of little crying and whinging about how political violence is never the answer. I'm sick of this idea that you can't meet violence with violence. If somebody was smacking you in the face in the corner of a room over and over, you're going to hit them back. You have to. You're not getting out of that unless you do.
The lunacy shows no signs of abating. Now to the latest on the investigation into Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. The FBI has revealed it's found the suspect's DNA on the roof where the fatal shot was allegedly fired from. And they've also discovered what appears to be a confession made by the accused in an online group chat where he wrote, "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. Sorry for all of this." Joining me now for more on this is Sky News contributor Kosha Garda. Kosha, great to see you in Sydney. It would seem investigators are compiling some pretty compelling evidence against Tyler Robinson here. What do you make of these latest developments?
Definitely they're building a case, clearly the criminal case. Many people want the death penalty sought, which is on the books in Utah as well as federally, if they're able to bring a federal charge, which is still unclear. I think what's more interesting from these chats is who else was maybe an accomplice or an accessory or fomenting this kind of attitude. And the reason for that is now the president, the vice president, multiple people have signaled that this is actually an organized domestic terror type group, possibly, where there's people, agitators out there funding it, potentially grooming people or getting them motivated in these chat servers and other places. And is there a case to try and break that down the way you would a criminal enterprise, like the mafia back in the day? So I think that's another thread that they're looking at, that who are these other people he's confessing to? What did they know? When did they know it? What role have they played in addition to him, the person who actually pulled the trigger? So I think a lot more to come on this. And if it spans wider and farther than just the one person who pulled the trigger, that I think is a pretty consequential outcome.
Yeah, frightening to consider that there could have been others who were supporting him and helping to fund this. We're also learning more about his transgender roommate and boyfriend, Tyler Robinson's roommate and boyfriend, that is, a man who was transitioning to become a woman. One of his family members told Fox News that he hates conservatives and Christians and that he hated his family. He was not raised that way, but he, over the years, has become really detached, been radicalized. He has obviously gotten progressively worse the last year or two, said the relative, adding he's always very angry. Now, all these comments are about the boyfriend who we've seen in reports has been cooperating with the FBI, unlike Tyler Robinson. What are your thoughts on these comments from a family member?
It's so interesting. I feel like we're only scratching the surface with this, and there's so many sensational details emerging. The fact that, first of all, Tyler Robinson came from ostensibly a normal, middle-class, pretty conservative religious family, and then went off to college and completely went off the deep end. Then it emerges he's in a romantic relationship with his roommate, who's a transsexual boy trying to transition to female, and also furry, which is a whole other subculture.
I heard you talk about that yesterday on air.
I went down
a whole other rabbit hole.
A rabbit hole I never wanted to go down, and unfortunately I did, so you don't have to.
Thank you.
So that's a whole other thing. And
yeah, don't Google furry if you're watching.
It just shows, how weird this whole thing is, and sad and dangerous, obviously. And then the fact that the roommate is cooperating, to me, I don't know, but I would posit that it's for self-preservation purposes, because if, again, he knew anything or was an accomplice of murder, then he potentially is in legal jeopardy as well, and maybe there's some sort of immunity deal or other things happening behind the scenes. I'm sure we'll find out. But this is just going from bizarre to more bizarre, and the juxtaposition against Charlie, this clean-cut, all-American, Christian young man, married, beautiful wife, beautiful kids, and then these guys just look more and more bizarre on the other side. That is what I think the whole world is seeing, and it's really awakening something, I think, in people globally that's beyond what I think anybody even expected.
But as you pointed out, how did he go from this seemingly normal upbringing in a conservative religious family to such far left ideology? At least that's what we're hearing, and from official sources.
Right.
So it is fascinating.
It's every parent's nightmare, worst nightmare. How does that happen? I think parents across America and around the world are really scared and wondering, how can this happen and how can you avoid it?
Yeah,